Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Rubble from Paw Patrol to go with the rest of my set. We are going to make what you see here, although I will be using smaller beads for my eyes this time. These are just a couple millimeters across. You'll use black bands wrapped 3 times or beads of your choice, and I'm using brown and black Sharpies to draw on the pupils on these. If you have a charm or a bead that you'd like to attach for his badge, you can get that on hand, as well as a few pieces of dental floss or a thin string to help us attach it. For this tutorial, you're going to need 1 gray band, a number of brown bands, and I'm using a kind of a caramel here. You'll need some white, and you're going to need a lot of yellow and a darker brown if you choose for the backpack. You'll want a couple of holding hooks, some C-clips, scissors, and your loom in the offset configuration. This is kind of a moderate to advanced level project. It isn't terrible, but we will be doing a little bit by hand and attaching it, and we have one tight section around the neck, so just be aware. I'm going to make one arm with you and get you to pause to do the other limbs, and otherwise we'll do this together. So let's begin with an arm, and for each of your arms and legs you're going to take 3 white bands and wrap them twice onto your hook. Just make sure we've got them all here. Take 3 more white bands and slide these on top. And we want 4 sets of 3 of your fur colored, your brown. So take 3 bands, pull everything off of your hook, and we're going to repeat that another 3 times. So 3 bands, slide, 3 bands, slide, and 3 bands one last time. And you can put these onto a holding hook or leave them where they are. You'll pause the video and make 3 more arms, well, 3 more limbs. When you're ready, you can come back and we'll start on the loom. Okay, let's go to the top of the loom, and we're going to begin with yellow for the hat. We come down with double bands. We're using double bands for most of this. Top center to the top right, double bands from the top center to the top left, and we'll come down on each of the rows with double yellow bands. On either side, we'll proceed with double brown bands, coming down 2 times. And then we switch to white and come down once with double bands. In the middle now, we're using only white, and we come down 4 times. Take 2 white bands and come from your 5th side to your 6th center, and from the 5th left side to your 5th center, and push them down carefully. Try and keep them from overlapping too much. Alright, let's make some ears next. For our ears, we have a single band wrapped once, twice, and 3 times. You can do it tighter if you like. We're going to pull it onto a doubled over single. So twist it around onto itself and repeat a doubled over single. This goes on your top left peg, and we'll make one for the top right peg as well. You can make this a little bit longer if you want it to be, or leave it like so. Single, wrap it 3-4 times so it's kind of tight. And we put it onto a doubled over, and onto a second doubled over band. going to double over our holding bands for the face. So, oh, let's put our yellows on first though. We need 2 yellows to come under this white band here. You can probably do without this, but I'm gonna stick with my original. So I've popped the 2 whites off the second peg in the middle, and I'm bringing 2 bands down from the second center to the second side. I'm repeating this on the closer side, and then we catch those whites and lift them back up. This is going to go under the hem, so it's going to be somewhat hidden. I wouldn't worry too much either way, but we're going to, as I say, stick to the original plan here. We take a single brown, double it over, bring it from the 3rd peg to the 3rd peg, and raise it above the 3rd peg in the center, so it's like a triangle. And we're going to double over a white and do the same thing underneath that, and again underneath that. So one more doubled over triangle on the bottom. This one's already kind of doubled. This goes across your 5th pegs. And we're going to make our eyes. If you're using bands, you'll take your color of choice and wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. Repeat and slide onto a single brown. If you're using beads with a large hole, they can be threaded on from your hook. And if you have beads with a smaller hole, you can put a piece of dental floss or a thin wire, or I guess even a needle and thread through. Get your brown band, one that isn't too stretched out. Slide your floss through, bring it back over, and return it through the beads. This piece of floss I have is kind of small. Wants to slip off. And not quite. There we go. Pinch it at the end and slide until it's right near the middle of your band. And this is going to go onto your 3rd peg down on either side, and just stretch it right across here. And get your hook in between the 2 bands, or the 2 beads or 2 bands, and get it between between the 2 sides of your 1 band. We're gonna get one of these pieces to go onto the peg below. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Okay, so this is one side of it is now under the 4th peg in the center. We're going to make our nose next. If you have a small gray band, you can use that, or you can take a gray bead, and you can thread it the same way. If you're using a band, wrap it relatively tight. I'm wrapping mine about 6 times. Scrunch it up together. This goes onto a doubled over single white. Make sure you get all the grays over. It will be tight. If it's too tight, then you can rewrap it a little bit looser. Put the other end on, and this goes onto a single white and across the 4th pegs. So just under the pegs with the eyes. And there's the basic setup for our face. We're going to add our side extensions, and then we can move on to our body. We need a single white wrapped twice, and this is pulled onto 3 sets of double white bands. Oh, sorry, onto 3 white bands. Just take 3 together. This will give that extra puffiness to the cheek. If you want it a little bit thinner, you can leave it at 2. We put this onto 2 sets of double brown. And then we need 1 set of double yellow. we take the yellow on the top of the hook and we pop this onto the top left peg. You can pull it over the ear if you want. And get a hold of the 3 loops here at the bottom and pull it onto your 5th peg down on that side. And we don't want this to bounce out to the side once it's all attached. So what we do is we grab 1 band out of each of these sets from the chain and pull it over the peg nearest to it. And we'll make 1 more of these for the right side. So a single white wrapped twice. We pull it onto 3 white bands. And we pull it onto 2 sets of double brown. Or 2 sets of brown. I think I'm getting too many doubles in there. And 1 set of yellow. 2 yellows here. Attach it the same way over the ear peg, and it can sit on top or it can go underneath. You can always pop the ear through later as well. Get your hook through the bottom loops and pull that onto your 5th peg down, and grab a piece out of each chain to connect it to the head here. If you can, try and get them from the same section of the chain. So if you're getting the underside, go for the underside. If you're getting it closer to the top, this will keep it from twisting too much. So there is our head, and we can start on the body. Now this is the tight part for when we're looming. We have 2 yellow bands from your 6th center to your 6th right, so it comes down diagonally. And repeat that to the left side. Push it down a little bit. And we are going to come down 4 times on either side with double yellow bands. Now we go down 5 times in the middle, and just before we proceed, I'll tell you, I didn't make a tail for this for Rubble, but I can show you how to make one if you'd like to have a tail. So if you want to have a tail, you take a single brown tail color, wrap it as tightly as you'd like, and we pull it onto some doubled over bands, and you can decide on the length. To show you, we'll make one, maybe we will make a tail for him. 2, 3, and I think I'm going to leave this at 3. You could make it longer or shorter by adding extra doubled over bands, and this goes on to your next set of yellows, which are then put onto the next pegs in the center, and this will pop out at the back. So that's totally optional, but that's how you get the tail. We need yellow bands to come in from either side diagonally. So go to your 4th peg from the bottom and meet that at the 3rd peg in the center, and do that from the opposite side as well. We're going to put a cap band on that 3rd from the bottom in the middle. Take a single, wrap it once, twice. You can do it tighter if you like. We're going to put our arms and legs on. Let's just see, did we do our extensions after, or yeah. This goes onto the top yellow piece that we used here. That's your 6th peg down. And likewise on the right side. We're going to take our legs here and put them on the 4th peg from the bottom on the left and on the right. We need a small extension for the sides, and for that we're taking a single yellow, wrapping it twice, and pulling it onto 2 sets of double yellow bands. I'm just going to make both extensions together here. So this is for one side, and this will be for the other. Single wrapped twice, pulled onto 2 double bands. And just before we proceed, let me make sure that we've used single spur out here. Okay, so you can decide how tight you want this body to be. I believe I just used single bands, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll write you a note if I'm wrong there. And we're going to take our single yellows and stretch them across in triangular form, starting just under the arms and repeating 3 more times. The last one will go over the piece with the legs. You can actually pop that over the legs if you want. If you can, it'll secure it in a little bit better. We can put our extensions on, and they're going to start 2 pegs under the arm. So pop your yellows over the arm from the top of your hook. The ones in your hook go on the arm, and slip that cap piece down to the peg below the peg below. So this ranges over 3 pegs, and we pop one of these over that middle peg. Do this on the other side. Take the bands from your hook and put them onto your arm piece. And you can see I've slipped one. Make sure you're getting them all. Let's try this one more time here. Over the arm, skip one and put it onto the peg below that, and catch a piece from that middle chain and pop it over. Now we will have to add a piece for the chin, but we're going to do that in a minute. We'll start looping up our body first. So go underneath that cap band at the bottom and find your top 2 yellows and bring them over to the correct side, which should be your left side if you've followed the same order I did. I'm going to do these separately. They're kind of in different places. 1 and 2. It's gone to sit on top of the leg piece. Go back inside and find your next 2, which will go to the right. And then we can loop up the center, and I'm going to stop just before the chin, so we'll go up 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. Now we'll loop up on the sides, and we'll start under the leg and go for the bottom 2 bands, but keep your hook inside these triangle bands as you go. I'm going to pop this up to the side to see it a little bit better, to reach it a bit better. Carefully ease it around and up. Push back your triangle and move forward. Get only your bottom 2, and we go up one more time until we reach the arm. Now go inside the arm piece, and we want the 2 triangular bands. And bring them to the center. And we'll go on the right and loop up the right side. Exact same way, push everything back and only take your bottom 2. So your hook, the open part of your hook is always pointed up and away from you. We need our diagonals from under the right arm. These are proving more of a challenge for me this time. I'm going to hold these out on the side and go in to grab them. Loop up, do not forget this part, loop up your last center band. Okay. Okay. we're going to loop up one more time here, one more section, and then we can add our nose piece. So get inside the yellow, and this is where it gets tricky. Find your top bands. You're going to have to determine which side they're coming from. And they should be your bands from the left. So very carefully bring those bands up and over to the left. And really take your time with this, because if you get the wrong bands, you're going to have something loose or something undoing on you. Or something looking really twisted and funny. So 2 to the left, your next 2 are going to the right. One of mine has already pulled itself up, and come up one time in the center very carefully. And let's get our chin piece ready. So we're using double over bands here. Take a single, and we're going to go near the bottom of the loom, go to the 3rd peg from the bottom, and come down once with the doubled over band. Get another band, double it over, repeat this on the left side, so they're just opposite each other. And we're going to take another one and come down once diagonally, once in the middle, from the bottom to the bottom. Come down diagonally from the right to the middle, and from the left to the middle. And last thing, single, double it over, bring it across the 2 pegs, the pegs that are second from the bottom. Okay, we need a cap band, and then we can loop this. So put a reasonably tight cap band on the bottom center. 3, 4, 5, as tight as you comfortably can. Don't do it so tight you can't get your hook in. And I'm going to push these all down a little bit and go under the cap and get your top 2 whites and bring them to the left. I'm doing this at such a funny angle. There's 1 and 2. Get the next ones, bring them to the right, and your last ones you're going to loom up once. Okay, we went to the left, to the right, and up, and on either side we're going to go in and loop up one time. Okay, take this off with your hook, keep on top of your holding band. We'll try and straighten this, even this out as best we can. You can do a little evening later too, but just do your best. And this will go onto a single white band. Carefully slide all of your bands on. And really try and keep it all in order and all tidy here. And I'm just going to put the other end on my hook for the moment as we get this ready to attach. This is going to go right with the nose, but first we're going to pop the nose down. So grab it and pull it under your 5th peg. Go inside there and loop up one time. And now we're going to take our chin piece and stretch that across right under the nose on the 4th peg and the 4th peg down. Press it in a little bit firmly so it sits nice and tight there. And we can loop up the side a couple times. So we're going to go under the 5th peg down, go to the bottom, this is right above our chin, and get your first 2 whites, lift up once to secure. Other side, lift up once to secure. Now we'll loop up the center again, push back the band with the eyes, and one more time go up. on either side, we're going to loop up twice. So starting from the 4th peg down, go inside, get your bottom 2 brown and bring them forward and forward again. We do this again on the right side. Loop up bottom browns only, bottom 2 browns 2 times. We're going to go inside the side and get the 2 yellows and bring them in. Other side, 2 yellows, bring them in. And loop up one more time on either side. You're going for the bottom 2 yellow. Come in diagonally, or you can go in any order at this point. We just have to loop up our last 3. So I'm going to do the center one and the side ones to the center. Get 1, or if you'd like 2 yellow bands, get it ready on your fingers. Press your hook through with the open part pointed away. It's going through all the bands on your top center peg. You're going to catch your yellow, slide it through, put the other end on, and pull one end over the other to create a slip knot. Then we can carefully remove this from the loom, and we'll start on some of our detail work here. Careful as you do this that you aren't stretching things out too much, because he already has we've given him a very puffy face already. We don't want to overdo it. And there is a lot of tension, so as always you want to be careful about breaking bands. Alright, let's press everything down and into place. For now we're just going to take this top band and put it onto a C-clip. And let's draw on our eyes. If you have beads with eyes on them already, or you've used bands, then you can skip this step. I'm going to put a little bit of brown as well. And this is actually kind of nice because it'll blend into the band if there's too much. So the rest of this is pretty well all done by hook. Now this part is optional. You have the choice. You can take this band and just hide it in the back and leave the top as it is. If you want this extra piece here, we take a single, wrap it 2 times, and pull it onto 3 doubled over single yellows. And this is where it gets a little bit hard, but we can do it. You're going to reach on through the top of the head on the right, where you would like this to sit. Take the C-clip off of your holding band and slide this all the way through the bands on your hook. Okay. Now we take this off, put it on our finger, put our hook back through nearby, grab it again and pull it to the back. And this can go back onto the C-clip just for the moment. And we turn to the other side. We go through the cap band where we started. We go through the head where we want it to sit. So I'm just grabbing a couple of bands just on top of the ear. We take a single yellow, slide it through all of those. Put the other end on, pull one side over the other, and we're going to pop this around and back through. So go through the head from the back, near to where we put it through the first time, catch that band and pull it through. And that should help it to sit kind of snugly. And then we can take the other band off of its C-clip, connect them, and you can weave them in if you want them to be a little bit tighter. So I'm gonna put this under, like grab a nearby band and bring one side over the other. That should sit a little more tightly. This goes onto the C-clip. I can see this is still sort of flopping. I'm gonna secure it one more time. Go through the top of the head, go through that added section. This is where it takes a little bit of fiddling. You have to decide what's right for yours. And we'll grab one more band and pull it through, and grab it through one more time. Okay, and we'll put this on the C-clip as well. So that is the top of the hat. It kind of rounds it off a little bit, but also makes it a little flatter. For the rim of the hat, we will again use doubled over singles, and we're doing almost the same thing. Take a single, wrap it once and twice, and pull it onto about 6 to 7 double over singles. Decide on the length that you'd like. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't want it to be too long or loose, because then it's gonna stick out from in front of the face and we'll have to secure it in more places. So let's measure it. See, does it stretch about as far as we want? Let's do one more. And you might find it sits a little bit differently on yours, and that's okay. You can always make it a little longer or a little shorter. And we're gonna do kind of what we did before, but let's sort of cheat and do this first. Take a single, pull it through. Oops. Pull one end over the other. And we're going to pull this to the back where we want it to sit. I'm going to go in just under the ears, I think. Take your band and bring it to the back. And again, this can go into the C-clip. You can leave it loose. I'm just going to pop it on the ear for the moment. And we secure this on the opposite side. Go through from the back where you want this to sit. And we're trying for about the same spot. I've gone through the yellows on the far side. Go through the cap band on this added piece and take a yellow, slide it through both of these or through everything on your hook again, and pull it to the back. I want this to sit under the ear, so we'll put that back into place, and we'll grab our piece from the opposite side and cinch those together, one over the other. These can go onto your same C-clip or a different C-clip. I'm just going to weave everything together, slip this under another yellow, and kind of combine these a bit. Now, if you still feel that this piece is too loose or it's flopping up, you can do what we did on the top. Go through, try and get between the white pieces over the eye, go through a bit of your yellow, loop a yellow through, and come back and again cinch it in. But if it's sitting where you want it to, you don't have to worry about that. I think I like the bigger eyes better. Okay, so next up, if you have charms you'd like to use, you can get a piece of dental floss or stick them on a band, but dental floss I find works really well. Put it through your bead or your charm, and this will You'll have to base this on the way that your charm is designed. Tie a knot so that it doesn't slide around. Position it under the chin and tie it on the back. And you can trim the excess. That's why we have our scissors handy. I would knot it at least 3 times, just to be sure. If your chin, I'll mention this now, if your chin is a little bit loose here, you can pull this through from the back, or you can actually pop this over your charm, and it'll help hold it in place a little bit better. And it'll tighten it if it's just a little bit loose. Or as I say, you can bring your hook through, catch it, and slide it to the back and secure it. If you're doing a charm on the hat, again, you can put it right onto a bead, or if it's something like what I'm using here, again, you put it onto some floss. Or invisible thread, whatever you have handy there. I hope you have dental floss handy. And we're gonna pop open the hat where you want this to sit. Very carefully hold on to the bottom, and you're gonna loop the top around your hook like so. And carefully slide it to the back. This might take a couple of tries. You might need to pop your thing loose a little bit to hold it open. You might want to use a needle and thread. Either way, you get it to the back, pull it through, and you'll do the same with your top section. Mine has come up upside down actually. I'm gonna catch this around the hook and carefully slide it through. This might take a couple of tries. It is a little harder than it looks. Alright, our last thing to do, our very last thing, is the backpack, which is not bad at all. We're going to do this on the loom. Get your yellows ready. And we do 2 yellows, top right to the top center, 2 yellows top left to the top center. Come down twice on each of the rows. And this is just like the backpacks we did on for the other Paw Patrols. We are going to make one change on the right side though, so just stop once you have the first set there. For the side piece of the backpack, I've used a single band and of a darker brown, wrapped it twice, and pulled it onto 3 pairs of brown. You can make this shorter or longer as you want. Maybe I'll just do 2 this time. And we're going to take the end that's on the hook and put it onto the top yellow pair on the right and replace that yellow pair. And then we get our next yellow pair ready, and we're going to get our hook through that capping band, through the end of that chain. Carefully, without losing anything, get your yellow through, put the bottom on, and we're going to get underneath and get those yellows and press them on again, just onto that second peg. Now we get 2 more bands. We come up from the second in the middle to the second on the right, and second left to the second middle. Single holding band across the 3rd pegs and a cap band on the 3rd peg down in the center. This doesn't have to be too tight. I'm just going to do it twice, and we can loop it up, attach. We're almost done. Okay, go under that cap, get your top 2 yellows and bring them to the left. So they're going to slide down diagonally. Your next 2 go to the right. We loop up in the center 2 times. Loop up on either side 2 times. Everything goes back to where it came from. Repeat on the right side. Don't worry about the brown bands, it's the same rule, just get your bottom two, and we'll loop up and in diagonally from either side of the top. Get a single band, slide it through the bands in your top center peg, and one end on, one end over the other. Same thing we did before. Carefully take this off of your loom. You can decide if you have a preference of which side your brown tool case is going to go on. And we're going to take our yellow band, slide it right over the head, pop it over the head. And to secure, oh, this is the wrong one, he already has a backpack. Pop it over his head. To secure, we go in through the side. This is at the back. We're going to take one piece out of the backpack we're attaching and slide it under the bands on the side. We don't even have to add anything here. Hold on to that. Go through the other side, same thing. Go through on the side where you want it to connect. Take a single band, pull that band under, and you can place the other band from the other side onto your hook. Pull one over the other, put this onto a C-clip, or you can even just twist this onto your tail. Just check it isn't too loose and that it isn't affecting the direction of your tail too much. This is my dental floss here. You'll need to cut that and pop your eyes through. Make any other adjustments you want, and if you want to pose your character, you can take your hook, press it through the hand, press it through the leg, wherever you'd like your character to sit. Your rubble. Let's try one more time here. We're going to take a larger piece of the hand, a little piece of the foot, and slide a white through, or a corresponding color depending on where you're matching the pieces. And you can kind of cinch it together the way you'd like them to be. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll check out my other Paw Patrol characters and some of my other tutorials.